Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Gio from GymnasticsVille. I'm here with Paul Juda. What's up, man?
How's it going?
I'm not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, doing well. Excited to be here and humbled that I have a chance to talk about this.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming, man. This is you're doing great things out here. Um, yeah, let's just get to know you real quick and we'll talk about all the things you're doing and what you've done this past, last week Pan American Games last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, but first off, where'd you grow up? What was your home gym?
So I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and my home gym was an awesome gym.
Mm,
Unfortunately, it closed. It was
mm,
Buffalo Grove Gymnastics Center, and it closed about this time last year, honestly. Um, but the suburb that I grew up in was called Deerfield, and
mm.
I was lucky enough to live only about 5 minutes away from my gym. So
That's really nice. Yeah.
so it was awesome. It all worked out really well.
Yeah. Dang, that really sucks though, getting that your home gym closed down. Um,
Yeah,
how did that happen? Why did that happen?
sure. Yeah. So well, we all went home. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of the guys on the team went home during quarantine, the first initial big quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough to train again back in my home gym with my home coach, the one that kind of raised me and made me the gymnast that I am. And
Mm-hmm.
that was with Leo Kravitsky. And so Leo and I were training over the summer and everything was going well. But unfortunately, I hadn't thought about the repercussions that COVID had on the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being pretty difficult for them to run a program with having to try and like maintain all those all the quotas that the state was putting out, X, Y, and Z. And with very few rec kids, it was really tough
Mm-hmm.
to keep that program alive. So unfortunately, a couple months in, we were told that the gym was going to be shutting down, unfortunately, and there wasn't really anything that they could do. There wasn't any money flowing through the business, so
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, the gym had to
Yeah.
shut down. But it was an awesome couple of months back at home,
Yeah,
starting up,
it's always
starting
fun
up.
going back to, you know, where you started, all that. There's a lot of guys that did that, I was talking to Yule, he's practicing back at 5280. I know, Collins going back to Cyprus, things like that. Akash
Yeah,
was practicing back in New Jersey. Um, but yeah, I think, gymnastics is one of those sports that just got hit super, super hard from
yeah,
COVID. And
absolutely.
I've just like been hearing a lot of stories of guys just getting, businesses, gyms just shutting down all over the place just because it's so difficult, like you said, getting the rec kids to come, because that's where the numbers really come in. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
and so it's like super, super difficult, especially on like the men's side. It's really, really hard to get those numbers back up and like you said, yeah, keep those, you know keep those numbers up, keep that money flowing at the same time being safe. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I
yeah.
and I don't blame people. I
Mhm,
understand it all, and unfortunately, it's just sometimes the way she goes. But I'm
mhm.
super grateful that I got to train at home for a couple months.
Yeah,
That was some of the
that's
most fun.
crucial. It's like
Yeah,
shout
so
out to all of those gyms that, take people back, and like all the gyms around the colleges that, let these college kids practice at the gym. Like that's super, super important, and like it's super helpful. And I think that's something that's super awesome about this sport is it's very inclusive, like it's a very tight knit community. Um,
absolutely.
and like Yeah, and just like we were talking about just before, like, your teammate now, Uche, was my teammate back in my home gym. It's like it's always that weird connection. There's always like one mutual friend that you have within this sport.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
something that's
yeah.
super, super special. Um,
It's always super fun. I know I'm getting a little bit of ahead of myself, but I mean, even in Pan Am's, it was awesome to talk to as much as we could talk. It wasn't really full conversations or
mhm.
anything, but just the mutual respect that everybody has for each other
Oh
from the
yeah.
opposite countries. It's always real fun.
Mhm.
We all know that we're in it for the long haul, and just having a good time, practicing, competing, cheering each other on. Every Who doesn't like good gymnastics? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Right. Yeah, and that's something that's super special about this sport too, right? Like once you're in it, like this sport is special and like
yeah,
I feel like we have to really like I don't know, get that message out. But oh, we'll figure it out. That's another discussion for another
yeah,
time.
that's a whole nother thing. Yeah,
Definitely keep that conversation going because that's a super important one, I think. Just for the development of the sport for sure, especially after, like we said, all these gyms closing. Got to keep that, motivation up, keep that passion up. Um, and speaking of passion, um, you going from that next level from JOs to that college, were you heavily recruited, not recruited at all, somewhere in between? Where were you with that?
sure. I think I was very fortunate enough to have a couple really good seasons in high school
Hmm.
that I was able to be a good recruit for some colleges. Um, it was really, um, I think it was a dream come true when I was able to sign my NLI at the University of Michigan. I mean, that
Hmm.
was just, I had always dreamed about that moment since I was a kid, and just making that transition. I know I wish if I could tell anything to myself um, back in high school, and to anything that I could say to like younger kids that are maybe struggling in high school, is that, you know, whether you make it to a college elite team or you don't, it is a heck of a lot more fun to finish out high school with
Mm.
what you've been doing for your entire life. And I know it goes a long way on college applications that you can show that, I did this for all 4 years,
Right.
and my senior year of high school, it wasn't the best season, or maybe it was, X, Y, and Z. But I think the dedication that a lot of kids start to starts to waver in high school, for sure.
Hmm.
You're open to a whole lot of new opportunities that you weren't before, but the ones that stick with it, I mean, it's always more fun sticking with it than having any regrets and looking back.
Definitely. Um, yeah. Yeah, so what made you choose Michigan?
I think I've always been a Michigan fan since I was a little kid, but I think one moment that stuck out to me especially was when I was just barely even in middle school or something, and I was always on Instagram, watching all the gymnastics videos, and as
Hmm.
all the gymnasts my age did. And I think watching Sam Mikulik finish up his senior year on the floor, stuck every pass, and
Hmm.
then nailed the triple full, and just went Super Saiyan, and then went over and hugged Kurt and hugged all those guys. And those guys were always super. They loved making videos on YouTube. I know their
Hmm.
promos like the back of my hand, and I
Hmm.
even I even have the chance now to talk to Jordan about them sometimes, because he's from that class, and now he's
Hmm.
our assistant coach. So yeah, I just always wanted to be a part of that. And the older I got, the more that I realized, wow, Michigan's not just a great school for gymnastics, but anything that I want to pursue academically
Hmm.
and even socially, I've got here. I've got a extremely diverse group of guys on my team alone, but Michigan in it of itself has a diverse student body, and any major and every major that you want here. So,
Hmm.
and it's close to home. It's only like a 3.5 hour drive home
Yeah,
back
that's
to
nice.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
just everything came together. They showed interest, I showed interest, and we made it happen. So
Perfect
super grateful
combination.
for that. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So I've been talking to a lot of the guys, I've been doing a lot of OU interviews about that culture. What would you say, what's it like day to day at Michigan? What's your mindset coming in? What is like, yeah, what is that mindset as, as you come in as a freshman, what's that mindset when you go in and being like, this is what Michigan gymnastics does? Um, yeah. How's that?
Uh, it's a good question. So, you know, um, coming in as a freshman, I think I put a lot of stress on myself. I wanted to uphold a lot of standards that
Hmm.
I had internally, and that when I came in, Michigan I think had finished fourth at the last NCAA's, and before then I think they didn't even make the finals, the Super Six. So, there was a lot of there was always a lot of potential on Michigan's team,
Hmm.
and I think that I really wanted to be able to show people that, and I, the best way that I could put our culture would be, it's a very fun environment. I'm always smiling, I'm laughing. I got a great group of guys. But as much fun as we have, we really have each other's backs inside the
Hmm.
gym. Um, you know, it took me a while to figure that out because I came from a gym where I didn't really have anyone um, trying to do elite gymnastics, and even during my senior year, I was the only senior on the my club gym,
Hmm.
so I never really had that kind of big support group of guys trying to pursue the same goal. So although we we love to have fun, and I mean the gym is sometimes popping with music. Just today, these summer practices are super fun.
Hmm.
Everyone's sweating, everyone's having a good time, laughing, we're loud, the music's loud. Uh, you know, so we're having a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, we just care about making ourselves the best versions of us. And I think the best thing that Michigan allows us to do is these guys are really focused on their degrees. I mean, one of our seniors coming back, he's already accepted into med school. He's deferring that to do another year of gymnastics. I got friends that are pursuing masters. I got friends that are doing all types of electrical,
Hmm.
mechanical, computer science, all these engineering degrees. And
Hmm.
it's just humbling being with these guys. They're putting their brains to use. They're frying them out outside of the gym, and then they
Right.
come into the gym and then they bust their chops. So
Yeah.
it's really like an all for one for all type of vibe in the gym. That's our culture.
Yeah.
I could sum it
That's
up.
yeah, that's super fun to have, and I like what you were saying about being the best versions of ourselves, because it sounds to me like you guys not only have a really good time there, but you push each other in gymnastics, but also outside and being a good
Yeah,
person, being,
absolutely.
being a well-rounded individual. And that's super important. I think it could be argued, that helps you be a better gymnast as well.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And of course it would be awesome, and I'm not going to say that we weren't disappointed after NCAA championships, but I mean, you
mhm,
know, we knew what happened, and we knew that. And I think one of my teammates, one of the guys in my age, David Willett, he said it perfectly, and I still have it in my head. We were in our huddle after NCAA's day two, after the results were finalized, and he said, guys, this wasn't the result we wanted, but we had a heck of a lot of growth, and that's what matters. But what's most important is the trek to the next NCAA championship starts today.
mhm.
So we're a great group of guys, and honestly, they're my brothers. I love them to death. I wouldn't trade them for anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's crucial too, like I've been saying this a lot in the interviews, but gymnastics is an individual sport, but NCAA does something super special where it has that team environment, and it makes
Yeah.
sure that, you have to have your teammates back. It's 5 up, 5 count. So
Yeah.
if someone messes up, you gotta have that, mentality of, oh, I can't mess up. I have to, pick it up, pick up the pace, make sure that we are doing well. And yeah, that's super important, and I really like that. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. What was your impression first coming in, of college? That difference of competing individually, like you said, not only doing it for yourself and trying to get the best score you have, but now coming into the NCAA, having that team aspect, doing what you can for the team, and doing that, uh, basing your gymnastics for that. How's that?
Sure. I think, truthfully, I think last year, my freshman year,
Hmm.
I had a good season, and I'm really thankful for everyone that allowed me to do that. But I think part of me still felt that I was competing for Paul Juda and I wasn't competing for Michigan. Um, it took a minute for me to learn, and I'm willing to admit that. But I think coming after getting our seasons canceled and seeing seniors that didn't even get to finish their
Hmm.
season, their career
Yeah.
in gymnastics, right?
Mm.
And um, just realizing that it could be over at any minute, any day, it's done.
Hmm.
And what I've learned this year is it's a lot more fun to compete when you're competing for a common goal with a lot of people, because
Yeah.
you're no longer stressed out about not reaching your goals. Instead, you're helping others achieve
Hmm.
theirs by achieving yours, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
and so this year was really, really fun. Every competition, I took it upon myself to be there with the team. I wanted the
Hmm.
team to win. I wasn't so interested in my personal rankings or anything. I wanted to do the job that the team needed. And
Hmm.
it's a whole different type of vibe when you're competing for the team. On top of that, I guess I'll give you a quick story. My first impression was that, oh, college gymnastics is just like regular gymnastics. I'm just getting older and doing more gymnastics.
Hmm.
And I quickly learned during one of our inner squads before the season started my freshman year, I fell like 3 times or something on high bar. And I was just like bumming around, just being upset. And Kurt comes over to me and goes, with definitely a little stern tone, because he's obviously upset. And he's like, if you keep doing that, I'm not going to put you in the lineup. Like,
Hmm.
you're going to score at a 10. I don't
Yeah.
care what your start value is.
Hmm.
And I realized in that moment, I was like, he's right. There are
Hmm.
people that if that day or something, they're scoring better than me, they should be in lineup and not me.
Hmm.
And so I really quickly realized it's not about the highest skills. It's not about the like biggest difficulty or whatever. It's about doing what the team needs. So just like as I continue to grow in my gymnastics career and try and be humble for everything that I've got, that I get, awarded and X, Y, and Z, I always now find it easier to compete because I'm feeling like I'm competing for something bigger than myself. I'm competing for the guys that lost the season. I'm competing
Hmm.
for the M on my chest and not the Judah on my back.
Hmm.
So, it's been a wild ride. I won't say that.
Hmm.
I'll say that. I won't lie about it. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
I every day, walking into meet day, a bus ride, a
Hmm.
plane ride, that's the type of stuff that gets overlooked. But I mean, those are the most fun times I've had. You know, uh, Unfortunately, we got shut down in Nebraska right in the beginning of our season. That 12-hour bus ride or 14-hour bus ride or whatever we did,
Yeah.
dude, we were just laughing so hard the entire time, right? So
This road
like
trip
that
with the homies.
exactly. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm super
Yeah.
grateful
It's
for. You
super,
know,
yeah, it's a great bonding moment when you have that, you can look at it one way where it's like, oh, cooped up in a bus, 12 hours. But it's just, you can look at it another way where it's like, dude, I get to just hang out here for 12 hours with, some of my best friends that I'll
exactly.
ever have, so it's definitely just the way you look at it. And also, you definitely have that good perspective of, soaking up the moment and being, grateful and also enjoying it while it's here because, everybody says it goes by quickly. I mean, you're 2 years down already and
Dude, I didn't even want to hear you say that, but yeah, it's been 2 years and
Yep.
I'm looking behind me and I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I was just in the
You're halfway
dorms,
there, bro.
right? So, oh man.
Yeah. But let's get into, how is that NCAA competitions, how did that get you ready for these competitions for, the international stage?
Yeah, so I think um if I'm being objective about myself, I do not believe that I am in any contention to you know, win an all-around gold medal at the Olympics this
Mhm.
year.
Right.
If I'm just being purely objective, I think that
You can be a little
Nikita
biased. No
has
one's gonna
that
blame
one.
you.
I think Nikita has that one on lock, or whoever they are, whoever it will be this year. I mean, they start like 8 points higher than me,
Oh, yeah,
right? So
it's
they
crazy.
these
They're
guys
doing
are
some crazy
crazy.
stuff out there, man.
Exactly. So and I think I've tried to shift my focus at least towards a bigger picture of bringing Team USA up to the top of that
Mhm,
medal standings, at least being on the medal standings, right? And
mhm,
I've talked a lot with my coach Shao, and he's an absolute genius, which is awesome. And it's overlaid from the stuff that Leo was talking about back in the day about Soviet Union type of training. And when I look at how these countries like China and Russia
mhm,
treat a team medal, it's spectacular.
mhm,
They cultivated it in their gyms. They were able to work together, like I've been saying, and bring back a team medal. And
mhm,
so, if you were to ask me about um, Pan Am's, I'm so humble and so grateful that I get to say I brought something back for Team USA.
mhm.
That plus one spot is something that I'm going to be able to talk about forever. And
Yeah,
for the ability to say that I
right.
provided something for Team USA blows me away. I
Mhm,
hope that whoever is awarded that spot uses it to the best of their ability. And, even the team medal that we brought back, the second place, that was
mhm.
so much fun. These were guys like Riley and Vitali are dudes that I would never cheer for in an NCAA meet,
Right,
right?
yeah.
But I'm wearing the same uniform as them,
Mhm,
and we're pushing towards one goal. So, the big thing that these NCAA meets have provided me is that, you fall, you get back up and you keep going. You
mhm.
unfortunately there's not a moment at NCAA champs or any meet, uh, a matter of fact, to get upset about your performance. You gotta pick that up. You gotta
Mhm.
bring it back to the corral, and you gotta
You got
smile and
6
cheer on the
different
next
events.
guy,
Can't
right?
focus on just one.
Exactly, and not even
Mhm.
just that. You got 30 routines that got to get through.
True.
So the one thing that I say that I've tried to apply more and more as I'm getting older, and just trying to be an example for the younger guys, is to really soak up that moment and be grateful that you're standing there with whoever's sharing the same uniform with you.
Mhm,
You guys are pursuing that goal. So, you know, at least for right now, my biggest goal in gymnastics is just, helping Team USA look the part.
mhm,
I think there's a lot of countries that might assume that we're not we're not as good as they are, but I think we've got all the talent in the world. I think we've
mhm.
got some of the youngest and best athletes. I know there are dudes out all around US that are doing
Definitely.
skills that I
Yeah.
couldn't even think about.
There's
And
talent out there's talent here, and like, you just got to get that difficulty up, get that execution, matched up with that difficulty, and I mean, we're right there for the taking. Yeah, just talking to Yule, he has that same mindset too. He really wants that, get Team USA that medal, and I think that's something that we need, and that's something that we should definitely expect to have, because if we're not expecting it, we're not going to get it ever.
sure,
So
sure.
it's awesome to hear you say that, just because you're young now, 19 years old. Um, definitely have that expectation, going into whatever international meet you have, going into worlds, going into the next Olympics, hopefully, rooting for you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
um but yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the Pan American Games. How was it? We
So
touched on it a
it
little
was
bit.
the championships this year. The
Oh, Pan
games
American
are, yeah,
Championships.
so it's
Okay.
a little different. I didn't know there was a difference
Oh.
either. The games
Uh-huh.
are every 4 years. The last one that happened were 2019, the one that
Hmm.
Cameron went to, and that team in Lima, Peru. But every year that it's not, that fourth year or
Oh,
whatever,
it's the
it's the
championships.
championships. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Hmm,
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
interesting. But
I'm
all right, I stand corrected. Pan American Championships. Yeah, how was it, bonding with those guys? Obviously, it's, different teams from, different teams. You got Donnell there, you got Vitali from OU, you got Cameron Bach, that's your teammate. But how was it, bonding with those guys?
Oh man, it was a blast.
Hmm.
From the second we stepped foot on the plane to Rio, it was a blast. I mean, it's kind of like what I was telling you, right? We were so grateful to be in another country during this pandemic. We were abiding all the laws and restrictions that there were, rules and restrictions. Sorry.
Hmm.
The food was wonderful. It was just an awesome time. Cheering
In
each
Rio,
other on
right?
in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah.
What was your favorite food over there?
So we didn't really have, I would say, necessarily Brazilian cuisine,
Uh-huh.
but the hotel that we were staying at provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Hmm.
And just every day, like high quality chicken, high
Mm.
quality greens. Oh, you know what? Papaya. I
Yeah.
learned that
Oh,
I've never had papaya before. And so papaya is one of my
nice.
new favorite
Mhm.
fruits. So there you go.
All right.
Um, so yeah, it was a blast. We were cheering each other on, trying to, I think the mentality that a lot of us shared going into that meet is who, like, let's get this for Team USA.
Mhm.
Who cares who gets it? I hope we get it,
Mhm.
and fortunately enough, I had myself a good day, and I got the spot for Team USA, but it wasn't so much about me getting it or
Mhm.
Cameron getting it or Riley or Vitali.
Mhm.
It was, let's get this for the guys back at home and let's get the job done. And so super grateful that we got to go there. I mean, it was a blast. Like, it was
Yeah.
beyond fun. I shared laughs with these guys that I can now call some of my really good friends. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to have
Yeah,
such a
that's
different
yeah.
perspective, like Donnell, who is
Mhm.
so much like older than us,
Mhm.
it was great. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. Let's go a little bit, event by event, because it kind of sucked. The coverage, I tried to watch the coverage, but it was all the Brazilian guys. So like I could, like, once the Brazilian guys, we watched all the Brazilian routines, and then we couldn't watch. We would see maybe an American dude in the background. It's like, oh, is that Cameron? Oh, that might be Paul. I don't know. But yeah. So let's go event by event. What'd you start on? Yeah, what'd you start on?
So we started on rings,
Hmm. How was that ring
and
set?
it was good, man. We came out of the gate, came out of the game kind of charged. I was really happy. I was feeling happy, feeling healthy, decent ring set, decent landing, no stick. That landing mat was a little stiff. It's the Spieth one. So
Uh-huh.
that was with no 4-incher. So that was a little you had to brace for that landing. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a little tricky, but we got it done. We went to vault next. I actually stutter stepped and made completely messed up my steps on my run to the vault.
Mm-hmm.
But funny enough, I did that in the warm up as well. So I guess good things
You're ready
happen
for it.
twice. So yeah,
What
and
was your vault?
just cause 1.5
Okay, nice.
and small hop forward. It was a great score, great energy. I was thinking to myself, 2 for 2. All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's keep the ball rolling. After P bars, oh well, I guess on vault, something that you might have seen is that I believe after Riley had gone, the vault table had seemed to be messed up. So before the Brazilian guys could actually compete their vaults, they had to weigh the whole vault table down with sandbags. So
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, they had
yes.
a bunch of sandbags on the
So that was something we weren't really expecting, but that was interesting. We were past vault already, so we
hmm
were like, well, I'm gonna let's let them
Well,
deal with that.
not our problem anymore.
Yep. So sorry, Brazil, that might have been
Yeah.
us, but then we went to P bars. It was another good event. I had a little bit of a small error in the beginning on my Hanma. It was a
hmm
little short cast, kind of caught with bent arms. But like I said, it was one of those meets. We just got to keep going through it, one skill at a time. Um, Went to high bar, threw the Kovacs a little bit close.
hmm
So that was a little silly. I did like an endo up
I saw
after a
that I
Kovacs.
looked it up on YouTube. So the little endo
Yeah,
up.
so I don't even do an endo in my routine.
I
So
gotcha.
that was like a whole just on
Right.
the fly type of
hmm
thing. So that was kind of interesting. Ended up going to floor, and so the first couple days on that floor, on the brand new speed floor, I was slipping all over the place.
mm
I was landing my passes poorly. I think I had done like 2 double pikes to my butt and 1 to my back. And so, it takes a second to adjust to that kind of stuff.
hmm
So, fortunately enough, I started my routine, had a lot of energy, double pike, stuck it, Arabian double half, stuck it, 2.5 full, stuck it, 1.5 full small hop, go into my flares, and I'm so in the zone that I start doing my flares and I do my split and I look at my back leg and my back leg's out of
Oh
bounds.
no.
And so I'm thinking to myself, no way, man, you put your leg out of bounds on a split.
Not
Like,
even on a
come on.
tumbling pass.
Not even on the tumbling pass. And in my head I was thinking, well, I hope he didn't see that. But
Right.
it was
Yeah.
like middle of my shin.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that was super funny. And then stuck a triple full, and that's definitely one of the
Nice.
skills that I've been really trying to nail on
hmm
floor, make my triple full look really
hmm
crisp at the end of a set. Because I think there's a big difference when you watch someone is great at sticking that, like Shane, and trying to measure up to that level. I mean, he
hmm
sticks that thing all the time.
Yeah.
He
It's
sticks
a
all his
solid that's
passes
a
all the
super
time.
solid dismount. Just have that easy triple full, nice
Exactly,
easy
yeah.
stick, boom, open up, boom. Oof.
And it just looks nice,
It's
right?
cold.
So
Yep, that's
so
good.
I was finally starting to get some numbers under my belt. So I could say maybe some of the sticking has worked
Nice.
out. So unfortunately he did see, so he had to walk with the red flag after my routine, but it's all good. It happens. It's jokes, and
Yep.
it's a lot of fun still. So I hadn't really been paying close attention to the standings going into the final event on horse,
hmm
but unfortunately, I looked up and I saw, oh man, like doing kind of well, and I think to myself, I could get this +1 spot if I nail this horse set, and immediately as I thought of that, I've been trying to train my mind to work, about staying in the moment and, forgetting about anything else.
Hmm.
So as soon as I thought about that, I told myself, I think I might have even whispered it. I said, don't think about that at all.
Hmm.
Hit this set. That's it.
Right.
Don't think about the outcome. Don't think about X, Y, and Z. Just worry about being in the moment.
Hmm.
And so I tried to do that as best as I could. I flushed that out of my mind. I focused up on pommel horse. We trained for this last event, and it was one of my better routines, and I felt like I put it all out there, as
Hmm.
best as I could. Um, Super
Yeah.
awesome to have Mark Freeman from Stanford on as an assistant coach. Um, I had never had the pleasure of meeting Mark until Brazil, but like I said, I mean, anytime I get to see Mark, I'm gonna go up to him. I'm gonna give him a great hug, assuming COVID
Hmm.
and stuff. But he was
Yeah.
an absolute awesome coach. Of course, I could speak tons about Xiao, but I know Xiao every day. He
Hmm.
was great as well. But Mark really held it together, and especially, like you were saying, he's an unfamiliar coach. He's unfamiliar with us,
Hmm.
but he made it work, and it was really awesome. Donnell held the team together like glue. I mean, he was really our team captain. He was the loudest one in the arena. He got us to get through every event. It was great having him really cheering us on. I felt like when I was holding my ring positions and Donnell was telling me to do it, I
Yep.
wasn't gonna
You,
stop.
I mean, you
So
gotta. Donnell's telling you
so
to do that. Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
like go ahead.
What's that like, knowing you have that, veteran leadership, knowing, going into that competition, even though he's not competing, just having him on that sideline, what's that like?
I mean, he's veteran. Like, he's
Hmm.
battle scarred. Like he's been
Hmm.
to all the big meets, like he's been to countless worlds. He has a world
Hmm.
medal.
Yep.
Like I think he might even have two, if I remember correctly, because they might have won team
Right.
that one time, their bronze team and vault. I mean, it's dope. Like I'm trying to learn as much as I can from everything that was happening in Rio, soaking up the moment and
Hmm.
X, Y, and Z, and just, watching him. He was still training with us, of course, and watching his moves and trying to figure out how these dudes do it. He's one
Hmm.
of the best of the best. So I'm just trying to soak it all in. It was really fun to have a veteran leader like that. Someone that's been there, done it, been on the biggest stage, and to just watch him keep his cool and cheer us on is it's really humbling because a couple years ago I was looking up to Donnell on Instagram, and
Hmm.
now I'm teammates with him on this
Right.
Pan American trip. So it
Hmm.
was really humbling, really awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, yeah, you end up, getting second all around, getting that extra spot for Team USA. How did that feel, and what were you thinking at that moment when you knew that you got that extra spot?
Oh man, I was ecstatic. It felt like, if I could sum it up in one word, it felt deserving after all the hard work we put in. To
Mhm.
be able to come home as a team with a +1 spot was awesome.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Personally, this last month was really difficult for me in terms of preparing for this meet. More mental than physical, in fact, and just grinding through those days, and finally feeling like, ah, it happened. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And like, no matter the outcome, honestly, I was more going out there and praying for a safe and healthy meet and coming
Mhm.
home, and that's all that I would have been grateful for and
For
happy
sure.
with. But coming home with that +1 spot, I mean, hey, check mark. That's what the Team USA came out there to do, and we got it.
Definitely. Yep.
So, but I'd be a complete fool and a liar if I said that I did even that meet alone. That, like I said, was the sport of the coaches, Shao and Mark, trusting them, listening to them, every critique, every word they were having, with the support of Donnell, his loud voice keeping us alive. The whole federation getting us out there, that this
Mhm.
was not even close to a single man job.
Mhm.
The whole month and a half about preparing for this meet, I mean, those mental battles were tough. I have to credit my girlfriend a lot for hearing me FaceTime, honestly,
Mhm.
breaking down in the gym and FaceTiming her and saying, I can't do it. And she was like, I'm not gonna have any of that, and wouldn't let me not be able to do it.
There
So,
we go.
shout out the amazing Reina Gugino.
Definitely.
So she made this happen. They all made it happen. This wasn't at all a personal job.
Mhm.
This was a team effort, and
Mhm.
luckily enough, it was a team reward, +1 for Team USA.
Nice. Yeah, I just want to, congratulate you because that's a huge, huge achievement, and there's definitely more to come. Um, so with that being said, you made it to national team. Is this your first senior national team selection?
No, not this wouldn't be my this isn't my first national team selection. I think 2019 Winter Cup was my first national team selection. Or
Nice.
sorry, 2020. My first year of college.
Mm-hmm.
First year of college.
Okay.
First Winter Cup.
Nice.
So,
So this is your second year, third year?
yep. Second year, second
Second
year.
year. Okay. So being on that national team, you get that you're able to compete for the Olympic trials. How are you training for that?
You know, I definitely had a little bit of a downtime after Rio. I think it's important that
Hmm.
everybody is able to step away for a minute, kind of be excited about the achievement and,
Definitely.
just take your mind off it a little
Hmm.
bit. I was lucky enough to go visit my girlfriend in Florida, and the weather was perfect. So I got to relax by the pool, eat some great food, have some amazing company, and
Hmm.
super grateful their family was allowed to have me over, and I was safe, vaccinated.
Hmm.
Um, really thankful that USA allowed me to, go to Rio and come back and
Hmm.
safely, and it all happened swiftly. There were no
Hmm.
major hiccups. We got our COVID tests there at X, Y, and Z was great. So my mentality for training for, you know, and training plan in general for Olympic trials is honestly just peak at the right time. You know, don't take it too seriously. Try and just have a lot of fun with it.
Hmm.
Um, be grateful for every opportunity. Be grateful for the national team. Grateful that I can come out there and train for the Olympic trials. Even training for the Olympic trials is a dream come true.
Hmm.
So just
Yep.
the
Another
fact
one.
that we're going to be
Yep.
allowed to go there is even better. So
Yep. Another checklist down. That's really awesome. And yeah, I know that opportunity being on that stage of um competing against the top guys is gonna be super, super awesome. And I know you're gonna kill it. You're gonna do the best you can.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And so I want to, you're at the Olympic trials, right here. I don't want you to be objective. I want you to state your case for you, Paul Juda,
I
Olympic
can't
team.
do that, man. I'm sorry. Can't do that. That would go against everything that I've tried to do for the past couple months of getting my head right and getting my mentality and everything. I'm sorry. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that even if you paid me. I couldn't do that,
Hey, I
man.
think that's a great case for you. Unselfish, gonna be a team player. I think that's what you've been preaching this whole interview. So I think that's something going for you. And if it's not this time, definitely rooting for you next time. Um, yeah, keep training, man. And it was good to talk to you, good to get to know you. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man.
All right.